Sabré Cook contou um pouco mais sobre o seu início de carreira antes de chegar na W Series, e ela falou com exclusividade pro Elas na pista. Eu conto pra vocês no vídeo a seguir. Pra quem não conhece, eu sou a Natália de Vivo e esse é o Elas na Pista. E aí, pessoal, tudo bom com vocês? É com muita alegria que eu trago hoje a primeira parte da entrevista exclusiva que eu fiz com a pilota norte-americana Sabré Cook. Ela que disputou as 2 temporadas da W Series. Esse ano ela teve um ano bastante complicado, inclusive na categoria exclusivamente feminina, teve de lidar com lesões, mas antes dela chegar a disputar na Europa, ela fez aí um período correndo nos Estados Unidos. Ela tem família envolvida no esporte a motor, ela é bastante apaixonada pelo que ela faz, ela tem alguns altos e baixos na sua carreira. Enfim, nessa primeira parte eu trago aí um resumo dela contando um pouco do início da sua carreira, o porquê ela decidiu sair dos Estados Unidos e correr na W Series, os pontos altos e baixos do que ela já viveu, qual carro que ela mais gostou de pilotar, enfim, um resumo bastante legal aí de todos os passos dela antes dela chegar na W Series. Vocês ficam aí a seguir com o vídeo dela contando tudo. Depois comenta aqui embaixo contando o que vocês acharam, compartilha com seus amigos, ajuda o vídeo a ir mais longe dando joinha, curtindo, compartilhando bastante. E se você quiser mais conteúdo exclusivo, tem até trechos exclusivos da entrevista com a Sabré Cook para os assinantes. Então, se você quiser conferir, basta entrar no meu perfil, clicar no botão Seja Membro e escolher uma das 2 mensalidades que melhor se encaixam para você. Bom, pessoal, confere aí agora o primeiro trecho da conversa exclusiva que eu tive com a Sabré Cook.
First of all, thank you for being here in Elas na Pista, YouTube channel, only for women in motorsport. It's a truly honor to have you here.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So the first question must be this one. How did you start in motorsport?
So I started in motorsports because my father used to race motocross and supercross professionally, and he and my mother didn't want us racing didn't want us racing motorcycles. So we got into karting at a young age and started racing at 8, but really started racing more competitively at 10.
Oh, cool. And how was to you so young, see your father racing and then being in the motorsport so young?
Yeah, it was just, I mean, that's all I ever knew from a young age, so it was pretty normal for me.
We can say that came naturally to you.
Yeah, definitely.
And you achieved multiple kart records, wins, and titles. Did you expect that when you started racing?
No, I mean, when I first started, I think it was just something that I was excited about and I wanted to do, and you know, my family was involved in it, so I don't think as a child I could have comprehended that.
And do you remember your first motorsport memory when you started racing?
Motorsport memory, I remember the first time I tried to ride a small dirt bike. It was actually before, sorry, there's planes flying overhead. We're right next to an Air Force base, so it gets loud. For my first memory, probably was the first time I tried to ride a dirt bike. I was maybe, I think it was like 5 maybe, and my dad put me on this little 50cc dirt bike, and I didn't realize that you had to let go of the gas to brake. So I ended up just like, I just like bailed out and ended up like just falling over and laying down because I couldn't figure out how to stop.
And you raced a while for now, and what are the highest and lowest points of your career?
That's tough. I mean, there's a lot of lows. There's a few highs. I think that's just how motorsports goes. But for me, highs would probably be when cause I've won 3 national championships and 3 world championships in karting. So I guess those are some highs, as well as this year I was the first female to podium in the Porsche Sprint Challenge. being accepted into W Series the very first time in 2019 was great. Being on the podium at Assen in 2019 was amazing. I was the first female finalist for Team USA Scholarship in 2017. I was the first female to qualify for KZ World Cup, so that was pretty awesome. And then, yeah, being the only American to represent the US in W Series this year was pretty great. But as far as lows, honestly, right now I would say I'm probably in one of those lows. I had a really tough season in W Series. I injured my back in June, and dealing with that sort of pain throughout the season was really, really difficult and made it very hard to focus on the right things, and not necessarily, I guess, it made it hard to focus, but more so I physically couldn't drive the car the way I wanted to because of the pain. So I would say that's probably one of the most difficult lows that I've had to deal with. And yeah, just working on getting fully rehabbed now that the season is over.
And you raced in series like USF 2000, in Pro 2000, and Formula 4. How was the experience?
It was good experience. If I could go back, I would do it a little differently though, because I was honestly just raised enough money to go racing rather than, having the money to test and properly prepare before getting into a season like that. So it was, I think I would do it a little differently, especially because I just kind of threw myself to the wolves with just jumping in for the races. And definitely being with lower budget teams, it was difficult at times, but I'm so glad that I was able to at least get some experience from it.
And well, you focus your career in United States where you're born, but then you changed it all and go to W Series. When this idea came to you, why did you do this?
Because W Series, was an amazing opportunity. It was something that, I didn't have to bring funding for, and I'd never had a full season in anything as far as car wise. Like once I'd moved to cars in 2017, I'd never had a full season in anything. And so having this opportunity to be with W Series that was fully funded was just, a dream come true, and pretty amazing opportunity for me.
And you had the opportunity to race at Indianapolis also. It's truly a whole different experience.
Yeah, on the road course. I didn't do the oval, but the road course, yes.
And how is only to be there? I admit it's my dream to know Indianapolis.
Honestly, it was the first time I drove out onto it. I was just kind of like, wow, this is really happening. Like it was a very special moment, and I think I'll probably remember that for forever.
And what car did you like the most to drive until now, so far?
I love the Indy Pro car. It's properly quick. It's a great car. And I really loved, I raced the 991.2 this year at Coda, and that was really enjoyable as well. But definitely, I did drive one random session a couple years ago in a Formula Atlantic, and I hope that I one day get to drive something like that again.
And you raced in the United States, you raced in Europe. Do you see any differences in motorsport scenarios in these two?
I think it depends. Generally in Europe, motorsports is part of your way of life over in Europe. So like it's much more well known, it's much more well respected, more people are involved in it. So I think it's kind of refreshing to be in that sort of atmosphere versus in the States. It's not as well known, and it's a little hard to get to tracks. I guess you don't have as many options, and then the opportunities can just be different. I think there's a lot more like driving opportunities in Europe just because there are so many more seats. But in the States, I guess like track wise in the States, there's not as I would say there's more things to hit. Like on a racetrack in general, it's not as like nicely groomed and as like wide open as like the F1 tracks were this year that we experienced. Well, at least most of them were that way. But yeah, I would say those are the main differences racetrack wise.